Welcome to today's episode of Let's Talk podcast. I'm your host Preeti, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. This episode is deeply personal and vulnerable because I want to talk about something that I've come to understand through my own healing journey, and that is what healing really means. What is healing? I used to think healing meant something very simple, like a destination, a place where you just get over the pain and move on. But what I've learned through my own struggles with grief and loss is that healing is much more complex than that. Let me take you back to a moment when I realized just how much I had misunderstood healing. Now, there was a time in my life when I thought healing meant moving on, right? I thought it was something that had a finish line, like a race I just needed to run. But then one day I heard a song on the radio that reminded me of a loss I thought I had left behind, and I was hit with a wave of grief I wasn't expecting. I felt like I had failed. I thought, why am I still feeling this? And that's when I realized it's not about getting over it. Healing is not about erasing the past or pretending it never happened. It's about learning how to carry those memories with you without them crushing you. Healing isn't a destination, it's a journey that ebbs and flows. Some days are easier and some are harder, and that's okay. It's like a scar, doesn't hurt the same way it did when it was first created, but you're still carrying it, and that scar will be with you, yes, but it doesn't define you. There are a lot of misconceptions about what healing is supposed to look like. One of the biggest ones is the idea that you just get over it, like I mentioned earlier, that somehow you'll wake up one day and everything will be fine and all of your pain will have disappeared. But that's not how it works. Let me tell you, time does not heal all wounds. It's what you do with the time that matters. I spent a long time thinking I could ignore my pain. I thought if I just stayed busy, pushed forward, kept my mind occupied, I'd eventually get over everything. But what happened was that pain didn't go away, it just got buried. And when it resurfaced, it came back with even more force. True healing takes intentional work. It requires facing your emotions, sitting with them, and processing them rather than pushing them aside. Healing isn't about running from the pain, it's about moving through it at your own pace, in your own way. And you know what? It's okay to not have all the answers or to feel or not to feel better right away. Healing is messy. And here's the thing, healing doesn't look the same for everyone. It's not a one size fits all experience. For me, healing wasn't just about seeing a therapist or taking prescribed steps. It was also about finding what worked for me, and that's unique to each person. I found healing in nature through the way a simple walk would bring me peace. I found it in creating art, in pouring my emotions onto the canvas without worrying about the outcome. I found it in connecting with others, in speaking openly about my grief and hearing others share theirs. Maybe for you, healing looks like journaling. Maybe it's in a yoga class or meditation. Maybe it's in a good book or a long conversation with a friend. It's easy to compare your healing journey to someone else's. But here's the truth, your path is yours alone, and that's okay. We all heal differently, and that's what makes each journey so uniquely powerful. When you're in the middle of healing, it's hard to notice the small signs of progress. You may be waiting for some huge moment where everything clicks, but the truth is, healing shows up in the little things. I remember a time when I thought I would never feel normal again. It felt like the weight of grief would crush me forever. But one day, something shifted. I laughed at something small. It wasn't a huge breakthrough, but it was a sign that I was healing, that I could still find joy even in small amounts. Here are some signs that you might be healing even when you don't realize it. Maybe you don't react the same way to old triggers. You've noticed a shift in your responses. Maybe you can think about a painful memory and not be completely consumed by it. Or you're starting to set boundaries to protect your peace and energy. Or you feel emotions, but you don't drown in them. You laugh, you find joy, you start to remember what it feels like to be happy, even if it's in the small moments. Healing is not a dramatic moment, it's in the quiet, in the subtle shifts that show you are becoming stronger, more resilient. If you're in the middle of healing right now and it feels impossible, I want to leave you with this message. You are not broken, you are becoming. Healing is not about being the person you were before, it's about embracing the person you're becoming. You're growing even when it doesn't feel like it, and that's something to celebrate. I know the road can feel long and some days can be difficult, but I promise you there is peace, there is hope, and there is light ahead. What does healing mean to you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can connect with me on Instagram or share your reflections with me. We're all in this together and I want to support you on your journey. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I can't wait to be with you again next time as we dive deeper into how we can navigate anxiety with kindness and compassion. Follow me on Instagram for more updates and future episodes at Let's Talk Mental Health Wellness. Until then, take care of yourself and remember, you're doing the best you can.